Hi, I'm Wendy Peacock, and this is my interpersonal communication project for HSER508 with Liberty University. Throughout this presentation, I'll be using a symbol to let you know when it's time to go to the next slide. This symbol is, so when you see me do that with my finger, you know it's time to go to the next slide. The contents of this presentation involve an introduction, interpersonal communication, what it is, enlarging the conversation, behavioral blend, overarching goal, barriers to communication, noise pollution, and my action plan. Communication skills are important to everyone. They are how we give and receive information and convey our ideas and opinions with those around us. Communication comes in many forms: verbal, sounds, languages, tone of voice; oral, which is listening and hearing; nonverbal, which could be your facial expressions, body language, and posture. Our written skills, which can include journals, letter writing, emails, text messages, those kind of things, and visuals, which are signs, symbols, and pictures. Now, interpersonal communication. What is it? Interpersonal communication is the type or kind of communication that happens when the people involved talk and listen in ways that maximize the presence of the personal. It's communication involving two or more persons. What is an overarching goal? An overarching goal is a goal that supersedes all other goals. It's a goal that influences all of your actions. If our goals were under an umbrella, the overarching goal would be the very tip of that umbrella. Therefore, my overarching goal is to be a level 1 listener and a quality communicator. What is a level 1 listener? Level 1 listening, or empathetic listening, at this level, listeners refrain from judging the talker and place themselves in the other's position, attempting to see things from his or her point of view. There is a direct link between the quality of your communication and the quality of your life. I really like that quote. My other smaller goals that fall under this umbrella would be to constantly try to improve my overall communication skills, to use my communication skills to help others that may be struggling in relationships, which goes under why I'm taking counseling, to be a godly example of how we should communicate with each other, to teach and empower others to communicate effectively, to use my God-given giftings and talents effectively, and to improve on what I like about my personality and change what I do not like. It's a lifelong process. Goals are only goals if you have a plan on how to achieve them. Interpersonal communication obviously will be very important in marriage and family counseling, which is what I want to do. Enlarging the conversation. Successful communication involves people being able to connect with each other. Everything we say and do becomes a reflection of who we are. Understanding who you are and your strengths and weaknesses in communication and knowing what you can improve on can help you enlarge the conversation. I will enlarge my conversation by continuing to grow in the person God has made me to be and to continue on this lifelong journey of communication. My background. I am a mother of 4 children, a wife, but most importantly, a child of God. The life-changing experience of coming to Christ is my biggest motivation to push forward and to be able to love like He loved. I want to be able to touch people's lives and to let them know that they are loved. Communication plays an important role in my life's goal of taking the gospel to people who need it most, whether through counseling or just being the hands and feet of Jesus, which is what He calls us to do. Behavioral blend. The DISC model of human behavior describes the 4 basic temperament types, D, I, S, and C. Everyone is a blend of DISC behavior. Everyone has their own personality that makes them unique. According to uniquelyyou.com, my behavioral blend is a CS type. CS type is passive and reserved. My personality profile based on the DISC personality types, positives of this profile are I'm competent, a peacemaker, caring, and loyal. Some of the negatives that I found are I tend to be submissive, withdrawn, a follower, and passive. According to inhisgrace.com, which is a great tool, and I recommend that you check it out, SC personality type is most like John and Mary in the Bible. This is because SC types are committed, caring, and loyal. And this is a great type to visit. It'll tell you some of your spiritual gifts according to your personality type. I recommend it highly. My personality. I do not like conflict and avoid it at all costs, but I need to work on sharing my opinion even when it may be uncomfortable to do so. I tend to take the background and do the go with the flow type of thing. I need to start taking the lead in areas I am more than competent to do so. Personal barriers. Some of my barriers to communication are biased listening, which is forming an opinion ahead of time of what is going to be said is nothing new, boring, etc. Sometimes when I'm listening, I'm like, oh, this is just going to be another one of those conversations. So I tend to start thinking of other things in my head instead of concentrating on the listener. The faker, which is pretending to listen when we are thinking of other things. And that's what I just explained. I tend to get stomach overload, where feelings build up until we finally explode. Instead of just voicing and dealing with things as they come, we tend to just take it in until finally the exploding happens. Also the flat brain tango. When somebody hurts us, we fire back instead of diffusing the situation or acting in love. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. That's what I'm working on. We all need to think before we speak and listen more than we speak. Noise pollution. Some internal noise pollution can be hearing what we want to hear, boredom, biased listening, etc. Some external noise pollution can be outside noise. Maybe there's traffic, we can't hear that well. Interruptions, phone calls, text messaging, those sort of things. Sometimes the talker is speaking in a very monotone voice and we just feel like falling asleep. Or the talker is not speaking loudly enough. Some of the solutions are to become aware of our emotions, have eye contact with the speaker, acknowledge the talker by nodding our head, leaning forward, making facial expressions, and then asking questions. My plan of action is to always keep my overarching goal in mind. Work on being an empathetic listener, non-judgmental, putting myself in the speaker's shoes, etc. And being aware of feelings, thoughts, and other barriers. And always to keep God's word in my heart. What does he say about communication and what a Christian woman should be doing? Communication is a continuing process. It's a lifelong journey, and I thank you for helping me in this journey. God bless.